Okay. Welcome back, everybody. I'm super excited to be back. It's been a minute. So let me apologize to all the people that actually listen to my podcast. I was in like a little stumper. I wasn't feeling it, so I didn't want to put out content just to be putting out content. But I'm back and I have a guest, so I'm super excited about that. I'm not gonna give any introductions because he could do that for himself. So here we are.
What's going on, people? Definitely thankful, grateful. Very good friend of mine brought me on to chop it up with her, and I mean, like my tag say, can they see that?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So that speaks for itself. I don't even think I need to do that. Just you know who I am. You see it. And I guess as we speak, you'll learn more about me and so on and so forth.
Yes. So just a little background for the people that just listen and don't watch. So his name is Jay. We go way back, like playground, way
For real.
back in the day, like 1999. Back in the
Earlier
day,
than that.
yeah, earlier than that actually, like
Way
95,
earlier than that.
95
Yeah.
when the Air Maxes first came out. That's
For
how far
real.
we go back. But yeah, so we have some similar experiences in adulthood, and we just decided that today we want to talk about millennial dating, love, culture. Might be more than one part, but we're gonna get started. So for those of y'all that listen, I'm a single mom. Um and we're gonna talk about what that's like dating.
Hmm.
So, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Man, that's so general. Uh, so like you, I think I'm like stuck on where to start. So, um, is it hard? I guess that's a good place to start, right? Is it a difficult thing to do?
I feel like yes and no, right? Because so here's the thing, right? You have like two different types of millennials, right? You have the millennials who watched the Cosby Show, who wanted that perfect picture family,
Right.
because a lot of us came from like not having a perfect picture family. We already came from
Right.
like single family households. So it was like, no, I'm gonna be Claire Huxtable, I'm gonna be Cliff. We're gonna have
Hmm.
this whole power couple thing hands
Hmm.
down. And I think we went into like adulthood with like rose colored glasses, right? And we just didn't
Right.
have it figured out. And then you had the millennials who were like sure about like who they are and what they're doing, and they dating and it doesn't matter how it impacts their kids, and like some of them it does matter. Like there's like a variation of like our age group.
Hmm.
Like you have like the super responsible and I'm not dating because I don't want to bring anybody around my kid. And then you have like
Right.
the YOLO, I'm doing me. I'm gonna leave them with their granny. Their daddy need to pick them up. Their mama need to have them this week. Like it
Hmm.
varies, so it's hard. It's super hard. I think it's hard.
I um I think I'm one of those people that I move very cautious, in regards to my children. All right. So you said I don't want anybody, just anybody around my kids. I'm more along those lines. Well, I say that it's hard. Um, I mean, I guess we can make it hard, right?
Hmm.
By feeling that way, by being so protective over, and I think as we should, but that's perspective. Cause like you said, there's a bunch of other people out there that's like, you know what, you only live once. I gotta have a life, so on and
Hmm.
so forth. It's so many different reasons why, they go out there and they just can freely date.
Hmm.
And they're not wrong for that. Just
No,
my
not at all.
perspective on that is, I'm a little more on the cautious end of, wanting to protect my children, who comes around them, and things like that. And then also too, it's crazy because like before I even had kids, I used to always say I ain't dating nobody with children. Nobody.
Yep.
I'm like, I swore by it too. Like, I'm
Yep.
like, I'm not dating anybody with children. I don't need that headache. I don't want to deal with, okay baby father, crazy baby father in jail. Like, I'm like, if he not alive, there's a possibility I might date this girl.
He had to be dead.
Just because I didn't like, it's a lot of unknown there. At least at that time, it was a lot of unknown with, dating somebody who had kids. Obviously, we're a whole lot younger back then. So I'm like, first of all, I'm not ready for no children. Two, like,
Mhm.
I just don't want to be a part of that whole situation, with somebody else's kid. And then you got to take into account too, like, I love children. I've always been good with children. So, there's that relationship with the kid that I had to take into account,
Right.
and I'm very sensitive to that, because I was one of those kids that, didn't grow up in the Cosby. Like, I looked at the Cosby Show, yes, and I wanted it, but it was almost like a dream. Like, is that real? Like, do
Mhm.
that really happen? Because I know for
Right.
me and everybody that I knew, that wasn't our situation. So,
Mhm.
I'm like, very sensitive to being in and out of a person's life, specifically a kid,
Right.
boy, girl, whatever. So, um, reeling it back now, that's why, I was so cautious about, nah, I don't want to be a part of nobody's situation. If they got kids, don't talk to me. And then now that I have children, it's not that like I'm ready to be out there. Yeah, who's ready to date me? I got kids, but I take that into account. Like, I remember a time I didn't want to have a relationship with somebody with a kid. So now I gotta expect that that's gonna come back on me.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I feel like because like social media is such a big platform and you get to see like so many different opinions and you got like the Kevin
mhm.
Samuels and the all these
Boy, he's
people
funny.
like Kevin Samuels will make you feel like if you got a kid that you trash. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have self-esteem, if you don't have like a level of understanding of who you are as a person, like
Yeah.
without outside influence, like it definitely is a space of if you're a parent that's single and dating, you have to kind of know who you are, right? Because if you don't,
Mhm.
it's easy to fall into these traps of like people making you feel like you should put up with stuff because you have kids. The whole notion of like, oh, she's damaged goods, she already got kids now,
Mhm.
whatever the case may be. Like I didn't have a kid till I was almost 35, so I enjoyed all my 20s,
Yeah.
all of them.
Same.
Like no drama, no kids, no none of that.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like unfortunately the situation didn't work out the way that I thought it would, but here we are, right? So we co-parent, we don't have a whole bunch of drama. Like it is what it is. And hopefully one day I could meet somebody who could understand that, right? But people always have like this whole preconceived notion of like what it would be like.
It,
So I
at this age, I want to say, like, and I might be bugging by saying this, the safest bet is like maybe somebody who can't have kids.
That's like so rare.
I know,
That's
but
rare. That's
like,
like that's like trying to get the Willy Wonka ticket.
right, it feels just like the right situation though. Okay, so you meet somebody, they don't have children because they can't have children.
Mhm.
And here it is, you have one, two, three, four, five kids, how many ever. And they're so accepting to that because I guess now they could play like half mommy with your situation, half daddy with your situation, get something that they can't get. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
But okay, let's rewind. You
Yeah,
think it's
that's
hard.
rough.
Is it hard? You said it's hard, or you feel like it's hard. Is it hard because you're trying to protect your daughter?
I think it's hard because I'm trying to protect her and protect me, right? Because of course, let me rewind. So of course, when I had a child, in no shape, form, or fashion did I plan on not raising her with her father, right? So for me, I would be dating with a purpose of like a partner, like somebody who's going to be my partner, not just to be dating like like I don't want to date just to date. I definitely don't want to introduce her to a whole bunch of different people. Like, you know how like little kids be like, oh, that's Uncle so and so, and that's really like who their mom is
No,
smashing like
negative.
stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do that. So
Right.
it's kind of like, okay, how do I go about this in this day and time? Because there's a lot of guys like who are close to 40. Like I'm 37, I'll be 38 this year, right?
Mhm.
So who still don't want to like be in a serious situation. They not ready to settle down still, and they may even themselves have children and they still have no intentions of actually being a family with somebody.
Yeah. Well, you know how
So
that go. That's two separate things. Like,
right, but when you're dating and you're a parent, that makes it even more complicated because
right.
that was complicated before I had my daughter. So now it's even worse because now I have another person who eventually would become part of the mix of like
As a
foolishness.
as a male, it don't the journey ain't like that. It's definitely different. Um,
Right. So I need to know. That's why you're here.
yeah, right. Like, I mean, if I'm to go out there, and call myself dating, knowing that I have kids, I'm not worried about what you worried about, the things that you worried about. Me personally, I'm very protective over my kids, so you know, and especially at this age group. Um, you know what I mean? I don't even know if it's okay. So it's part I'm trying to protect them, and then also part I don't know if I'm ready for something like that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
To my point.
And when I say, yeah, when
To
I
my
say
point.
like what I'm not ready for, it's specifically those conversations with them about who's who
Hmm.
and what's what.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? That's something I would want to put off for a later date, I suppose, when the understanding's a little bit better with them. My kids are 5 and 6, so actually 5 and 7. So that age range of having to, discuss whatever. Nah, I'm not ready for that. It has to be an older age, better understanding. Because I feel in my brain, one, I will be prepared because it'll be a smoother transition. Now I think it's just too much confusion attached to who's who and what's what.
So you're saying that you would hold off like dating somebody serious for like another 6 years. You talking like 12, 10, 12.
I never put a time limit to it. But now that you took it there, I I don't know.
Cause I
I
mean, like,
think
what's the right age? I feel like sometimes we underestimate like children's level of understanding.
I know I do.
You know
Um,
what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and I only say that because I work with kids, right? And I work with
right,
kids as young as like 11.
mhm,
So at 11, they're very clear about what it is and what it's not, right?
right,
So that's why I put like 11, 12 in that group. But it's like you talking about 6 or 7. That's a few years from now, right?
right.
You just gonna chill for like 4 more years.
No,
Right. That's what I mean. Like my
um,
daughter's 3, so everybody that looks remotely close to I take that back because any she associates because of like nursery rhymes and like Coco Melon and like just a male being daddy. So she'll say that to anybody.
right,
Right. So I know for her it will be confusing because
right.
she's 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, ooh, sorry. Um, yeah, I don't know if about putting it. See, okay, so it's not so much that I'll be putting dating off until that time, or that I'm putting dating off until that time. It's the conversation that I'm putting off. So
Okay.
it's the not me. It's not connecting the two. So you know, dating, fine, but it getting to that point, where you're starting to either blend the family or introduce, that's a different conversation, that's a different situation.
Right. And so coming from the female perspective, where
Mhm.
most of us, especially and I'm just and ladies, you could send me a DM or whatever if I'm overstepping my generalization of women in their late 30s are dating to be married or to at least be in a long-term serious commitment. You're not gonna be able to tell me I can't meet your kids for 2 and 3 years. Cause then to me, it's gonna feel like what are you hiding?
That's
That's
part of
just
the
the natural
disconnect.
progression of okay, I still can't meet his kids, he acting weird, what's good, etc.
Now, okay, you say that, and then say I said to you what we just discussed.
Hmm.
That's my reasoning. Hey, look, you know what? I'm not ready for that conversation with my children, blah 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 blah. How do you respond to that? Do you accept that as a good enough reason why I'm holding off?
I think it varies depending on where we are as a couple.
Mm,
Because if we are serious and we talking about like next steps, then I wouldn't understand that,
mm,
regardless of age. Like if you telling me like, oh, I see a future, or we talk about marriage, this and the third, then I would not understand that. But if we hadn't made it to that stage and we just kind of kicking it and we cool with what we where we are and we not really trying to put labels and
mhm,
expectations, then okay, cool.
mm. Good point.
It depends on the
Um,
stage of the relationship. So I can't say that automatically it would be like a hell no for me, I'm out.
right.
It depends on where we are. Like if we've had discussions about like progression, then none of it makes sense anymore.
And this is just solely about, the kids being involved. Dating with kids, which is, what we're touching on, and dating period. There it's separate. Like
It's
that's two
separate,
separate
yeah.
conversations because dating in itself is, boy, that's something else today.
Yeah, today,
Um,
because it depends on what you even consider dating.
so just take away the kids part of the whole equation and just look at dating in itself. That's a lot um to get through. So now you adding kids into the whole thing.
Exactly.
It's what we talking about. It's everything that you said, everything that I said in regards to children, having children, and then we're on the scene, navigating that. Yeah, we need to first figure out how to navigate just dating. Like take the kids part out of it.
Facts. And I will be the first to admit I have no idea how to date.
Man.
I thought I knew what I was doing, but I was definitely just living in a fantasy
Hmm.
for 32 years.
But so okay, somebody asked you, "What's dating to you at 30 years old?" What would your answer be?
Like 30 years, like when I was 30 or
30
right
years,
now.
yeah, when you were 30.
Whew. You know what? I think that in all fairness, I think that at that time I was definitely part of the clock is ticking crew
Mm,
that some of us females throw ourselves into for expectations of like where you want to be, what you should have accomplished. Because by then I had already got my master's degree. I felt like, all right, all the education stuff is checked off. I got
mhm,
my career going.
mhm,
Now I need to find my husband.
mhm,
Not understanding that like men find their wives and like you can't choose in that way. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was just
mhm.
all over the place. Like I could honestly admit that and be honest about like where I was as far as dating, and I was definitely like in it to win
Mhm.
it. Because and not even really paying attention to like what people were saying to me.
Right.
I wasn't hearing it.
So you think like for all the girls out there, all the women that's chasing the clock, it just come to a point where you like, all right, I'm gonna take anything.
No.
So y'all don't accept more than you probably would if you wasn't or felt like you wasn't racing the clock.
I don't think that we accept things based on just the clock. I think we accept things based on where we are in our own personal growth
Mm.
and how we see ourselves.
See,
Not
yeah.
having to do with a clock and all of that, because there's science and you can eat right and you can have a baby at 40, right?
Hmm.
So that's irrelevant. I think that where you are as a female in her own journey of like self and who you are
Right.
determines what you will allow and accept in the dating world. But will people use the clock as an excuse to accept bullshit because they're not really ready to admit where they are, as far as like esteem wise? Yes.
I don't. I don't know if I know what dating is either, but I can share how I view it. Um, and I'm still like in a transition stage where I'm learning more and kind of like letting go of what I thought the process should look like. So for me, you know, uh, a bunch of trust issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you just fear the disappointment of being let down by somebody. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people could relate to that feeling, right? So, for me, that was like at the top of the list. So in dating somebody or talking to somebody, whatever, however you want to refer to it, my thing is, all right, I want to get to know who this person is um beneath the surface,
Mm-hmm.
and I want, okay, I'm that guy, long story short, I want to get past the oh, I'm thinking about you. Oh, I'm thinking about you too. That's crazy. And y'all send texts at the same time to each other.
Right.
Or you know what I mean? I want to get
Mm-hmm.
past all of that, and I kind of want the disagreements to start happening just so I could see, you know, how does this person react act when they're upset with me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see how they interact with their family, what their family looks like. Because for me, that's it gives indication on who this person is that you're dealing with. Um, and I kind of like, I mean, it's kind of hard, you first meet somebody, you start dating in the first 2, 3, 4, 5 months, for something big to happen in terms of like, money issues or something like that. Because
Mhm.
if money issues are happening that fast, then y'all was moving way too fast. But I kind of like situations a little more on the serious side to happen just to see, you know, how is this person going to react to that? Are you going to pull away? Are you going to be like, no, we got this? You know what I mean? So my thing was I was looking for signs of, will this person let me down when I need them most?
Mhm.
Can I ever really get that answer? No, until it happens, right?
Mhm.
But that's how I view dating. Okay, this person has to prove to me that they won't let me down. And
Mhm.
obviously, as I got older, I'm getting older, and more things keep happening. Can you curse?
Yeah.
Oh, and more, and more. I wanted to say shit because that's really what that best describes everything that happened. Anyway, the more shit that happened, and the older I got, I started to get away from that because I'm like, yeah, that's, first of all, that's not fair.
Mhm.
And two, it's like, no, because the shit is built off of fear. Like, I'm literally fearing being let down and the whole trust issue thing. So it's like, okay, first of all, you got to let go of that within
Mhm.
me, and then I started working on that. So it kind of plays into what you said about females having to, check themselves instead of racing the clock and all that. But you know, uh, for my fellas out there, y'all trying to get past something, you got to start with self too. That's just a human thing to do.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
look yourself in the mirror, be honest with yourself, brutally honest with yourself. And that's what I did. I recognized that what I was doing was built on fear. And as I started to learn from different things that happened, my perspective is changing on dating. And it's really truly still about getting to know who this person really is.
Mhm.
And also with that, letting that person know who you really are. Cause they gotta have a fair assessment, just like you gotta have a fair assessment.
Right.
It ain't right. I
I
build up something
mean,
that ain't it.
I feel like you have to get to a place where you no longer like present a representative, right?
Mhm.
And that happens for
Exactly.
people at different ages and different times and after different experiences. But a
Mhm.
lot of times we find ourselves in like these difficult scenarios because we presented like this representative, and the representative could last 6 months to a year, right? And then you
Mhm.
get to know the person. So if you did major things within the first year, then you already losing
Mhm.
because you don't really know who you're dealing with, right?
Right.
So, and then the other thing is that the understanding of like people evolving, right? So let's just say if you and I dated, right, and we on year 5, you may not be the same Jay from 5 years ago, but I
Nope.
have to grow and evolve with you, right? Or we have to
Mhm.
go our separate ways.
Vice
And that's the
versa.
part that like people don't really understand, or they haven't grasped that concept
Mhm.
of like,
Comfort.
yeah, it's almost like being complacent and like not really wanting to, because people's growth may not be convenient to you,
Right.
and that's okay. But you just got to know when to like not go there and not, not stay.
See, and that and like the courting stage, I hate that word
But like,
for
who really courts? Like, what? Because courting, like,
nah, that's
the
dead.
definition of courting, like, no one does that anymore.
No.
Like, nobody's
Yeah.
dating somebody and actively dating other people and okay with it and not having
Mhm.
sex with anybody. Like, nobody's
Right.
doing that.
Nah.
It's not happening. Like,
Nah.
I'm almost ready to like start back arranged marriages just so my daughter will be straight.
That ain't gonna work either.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Society will change that in a heartbeat.
I mean, because it's insane. Like the things that we have adopted in the last, I don't know, I don't know. I don't think I've ever been courted.
Nah, you probably haven't.
I have not been courted a day in my life.
Yeah.
I know I haven't.
I can't even say that I have. So I ain't even speaking from a place like, oh man, damn, sucks to be you. because I don't do that. Like I don't even know, you know, what that thoroughly looks like how do what's all the details? So when I say courting, when I refer to courting, I'm talking about surface, what we know, what we've been told, what we've seen maybe, or you know, watching a movie or whatever, and you hear them use the term courting, and we're watching what they're doing. Um, so when I say court, that's what I'm talking about. But we're gonna stick to dating because we ain't got the details on, what's a good courting.
I mean, for me, I feel like a good courting is somebody who genuinely wants to get to know me and does things intentionally to
Without
get to know me.
motive,
Huh?
without motive.
Without motive, like being intentional. Like, so like perfect example, you remember the girl, I don't know if you saw it, but like this girl went viral because she went on a date with a guy and she bought him a cigar. And people like was dragging her about getting him a gift for a date, but it was because she listened to the things that he liked.
That's dope.
Right.
That's dope. Like
She wasn't talking about slobbing his
yeah,
knob or nothing. She talking about getting him a gift because they had
right,
a conversation and she was actively listening. Because active listening means that you took something from the
right.
conversation,
Retained.
and and he did the same thing for her. He took her on a date to a record shop because she had bought like a record player and she wanted to increase her vinyl collection. So like they
So
both courted each other in a way of they were trying to get to know each other and they were trying to do things that they both liked.
yeah.
That's
Oh, why?
courting.
Well, if that's part of courting, then I think I'll be doing that a little bit because I'm an active listener. So you talking and I hear what you're saying, and I think that that's dope though. Because like for all of the females that I have talked to, or we're gonna say dated, um, like that's like I said, a part of that, getting to know this person,
Mhm.
and then also allowing this person to get to know me.
Mhm.
Now I wasn't an open book. Obviously, there's reservation there because, like I said, trust issues, reservation, they just go hand in hand.
Mhm.
Um, but that part right there, that gesture, actively listening and then taking that information to woo the person, yeah, that's light. I think you're
Yeah.
supposed to do that.
Exactly. But courting is supposed to be like an open thing where you do that for a while. But see, we be trying to add extra stuff, which causes
Yeah,
confusion. You
or
feel
just
me?
change the whole game.
Because if I let you bust it down, then now you my man.
Yeah.
Now you my man. Like it doesn't matter. You my
And
man
that's the
now, and you can't talk to
problem.
anybody.
Yeah, see? Well, no, because all right, there's females that feel what you just expressed. Okay,
Mhm.
you let them smack, you my man, right? I would like
Mhm.
to say that that's I'm treading a real fine line here, but I'm gonna say it anyway. That's a woman with a little more self-respect, I suppose, right? A little more maturity, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how to word that. So yeah, I gotta
It
forgive me.
depends on what lens you looking from because there's the liberated. I
Who
don't
don't
even
see nothing wrong with it. It's
I don't want to
okay.
go down this rabbit hole
I don't either.
because I don't want to go down the rabbit hole because
Leave it
I have a
alone.
whole thing against like the feminism movement and how it impacted the black community. But we not that's another day.
Look, leave it at this. There's a group of females that would say, "You my
I'm
man."
free.
If they let you smack, there's other females that would be like, "Up, I let him hit. It was whack or it was good. That's it."
Mm-hmm.
And think nothing of it. Oh, he went
Mm-hmm.
his way. That's it. On to the next.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I ain't judging either side. I'm not picking either side. I don't care. I'm just saying there's groups. And
Yes,
yeah,
we
there
can
you
agree
go.
on that. There are groups, and
Okay.
there's no please anybody listening. This is no shame either way.
None. None.
I'm just saying that when you add that element for
Hmm.
somebody that you truly are interested in, it changes
Yes.
the trajectory
Yeah. Shit get
of
cloudy.
how the rest of that will go.
Right. Yep. And then I mean, yeah. So all right. So I think we could just call a spade here with those groups. It just feels like from a man's point of view, I meet a girl, and she has that aggressive mentality of she's trying to get me. I got the mentality of I'm trying to get her. When I say get, I'm talking about, smack it. She wants to get smacked. I want to smack it. Um, so, we link and I'm thinking, oh, that was easy. That's light. That's light work. Boom, done. She's like, boom, got it. Now I go meet somebody else with that same expectation. This is going to be light work. And that woman puts up a little resistance. Oh, no, not tonight. Not right now. I'm waiting. I don't even know you. Whatever is her, reason. I'm going to view her as, oh, you corny. You whack. That's trash. Like, what are you doing? Like, so, that plays a part in this whole dating thing. I don't want to say one group gives the other group a bad name or discredits the other group. It's just that's what makes shit cloudy, when things are easier on one part of the island, you're probably gonna stay on that side of the island. You're not gonna want to go to the other side of the island where there's more resistance or, I'm not ready or whatever is the reason. So, you
Oh, I
know,
know that to be true. Perfect example. I was in a
go.
situation. I found out there was it was a third party. I asked what was the draw to the third party, and they said was no expectation.
Mm,
That it was just easier over there.
yeah.
Like the standard was different, the expectation was different. It wasn't so much pressure, right?
Nothing to challenge.
So, and at that time, because where I was in my own like self journey, I was like, well, damn, what's wrong with me? Like maybe I do have too many that like I was second guessing like my own like
I do
whatever. And
that.
it was like, nah, I'm good on that. Like, no.
Yeah.
Because my thing is this, right? If I know we done got far from like dating with kids. Well, no, not really.
Nah,
But
it's all in line.
the thing about it is this, right? If I have a certain if I live my life a certain way, then I'm looking for a equal,
Right.
right? Nobody's trying to downgrade.
Or they shouldn't be.
They
Because a
shouldn't
lot
be.
of people
And
downgrade.
I'm not saying, and I think people like when females say that, people get like confused or they get like super defensive and think like, oh, she got a master's, he got to have a man. No, you don't even have to go to college, but you got to have the same job that I had.
Right.
Like you got to be trying to make the same amount of money that I'm making, whether you selling socks, whether you got a drop shipping store, whether you flipping
Hmm.
pallets. I don't really care what you do,
Hmm.
but we got to have the same mindset, not necessarily the same, you know, uh
Credentials,
nothing like that.
achievements.
No,
Right.
you just gotta be where I'm trying to be.
Hmm. In
That's it.
position
That's
to
all.
match your hustle, match your grind, match
Right.
your work ethic,
Yeah.
possibly even uplift you.
Yeah. And not
Um,
even just work ethic, but like I gotta know, like, if I'm in a bad space, you can hold me down.
right.
You can't be talking about, oh no, I don't pray, I don't do this, I don't do that. Like me, I'm sorry, I grew up in the church. So to a certain extent, you gotta know something.
Now you starting to filter. Now you starting to filter. So you just said church. Listen, you building a man. You building a man, which is not a problem. Which is not a problem. But you need to understand the the landscape. Okay, you got to take a look outside. You got to see what's outside, right? And this is
Mm-hmm.
to limit and do away with the frustration of, oh my gosh, what is going on? Why can't I find somebody for men and for women? It's, I'm talking to a female, but this you got to make it apply. So you started to filter when you mentioned, if I get in the jam, I need to know that I can rely on you to, pick me back up. Prayer, if I'm down for the moment financially, you got it. You got the hustle, you got the grind to kind of hold down the fort until I get back on my feet, whatever, however that looks like, right? But you mentioned prayer. You grew up in the church, you grew up in the faith. I'm gonna say faith. You grew up with faith, you're a believer. I know that. Um, and you need a man to partner up with you,
Mm-hmm.
be on the same equally yoked, right? That's the
Mm-hmm.
term, right? Um, where you think you're gonna find that at?
It's out here.
It's out there.
It's out here.
Is it the minority or the majority? It's the minority.
I feel like social media has created a platform to make people feel like it's the minority, but it's not. I feel like because we get to see so much bullshit all day long,
Mm-hmm.
and it because the people that perpetuate that have the larger platforms, that you feel like it's an abundance of that, which is why social media could be a gift and a curse, right?
Right.
Because it
It
makes
is.
you feel like there's this abundance of people who are just heathens and out here doing whatever and have no type of structure or any type of foundation for themselves, and that's not true, right?
Mm-hmm.
I spend a lot of time in a lot of circles of like just genuinely decent people, but you would never know because they don't have 100,000 followers or they don't have a social media presence, period. But there are decent people. And I'm not
Right.
saying they got to be a Christian. You just got to be able to talk to me about something
Mm-hmm.
and not be talking about, well, I pray to my homeboy who died out there on the block. You know, I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that. We all come from the same neighborhood, but I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good,
Yeah, I
bro.
don't know, man. Like, I'm
I'm
not
good.
gonna say that it's no good women out there. Uh, I'm not gonna say nothing like that, especially based off of what's on social media, like the eye candy and the OnlyFans, IG models, whatever, all of that shit. Like, I'm not gonna say that it's not good women out there. I'm pretty sure there's good women out there. Um, but I'm gonna say, from my perspective, and I don't know, what male listening would agree, but they kind of hard to find. They kind of hard to find. But now that plays into, what a man is looking for specifically.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a fine line between, nah, never mind. Your standard is your standard. Um, so to me, some dudes would uh put into the whatever the ingredients that they're building, their perfect woman or who they feel will be right for them. They incorporate, physical things.
Mm-hmm.
Body got to be like this, whatever, whatever. I'm not. To me, I feel like that's a little unrealistic because you'll get that. You can get that. That's
Mm-hmm.
light work, especially now with surgeries and all that. You could
Mm-hmm.
look however you want to look, so you
Mm-hmm.
can get that. That's realistic, but it has expiration date on it. You know what I mean? So that ain't me. I'm not necessarily looking for something like that. I'm a little more realistic with trying to find things that's more like them being grounded. You know what I mean? Like I want to know where you came from. To me, because like that being grounded, having that type of foundation, that's the shit that'll last. And that's
Mm-hmm.
really what I'm chasing. That's what I'm seeking. I'm seeking that old love that lasts, long. Like you get some people, they say, yo, my grandparents been together for 50, 60 something years, and they still rocking. You know what I mean? Like it ain't a nasty relationship. It's
Mm-hmm.
a well-oiled functioning relationship. And that's what, if I can't have that, then I don't want nothing at all. I'm good. Like I'll be alone. You know what I mean? I ain't really
Mm-hmm.
alone, but I'll be alone. I'm good. I don't need no relationship that bad if it can't be like that. So that foundation, that shit is hard to find. That shit is hard to find because it's a lot that goes into that.
I
The way you
mean,
think, the way you was raised, like all of that shit plays a part in there. And where is that right now? A lot of chicks, but I guess because they was hurt or whatever the reason is, their mentality changed. A lot of women's mentality changed. And I'm gonna give y'all that based on y'all argument that niggas ain't shit. Niggas ain't shit. So y'all harden up, y'all toughen up, y'all playing the game now. That's what a lot of females are doing. They're playing the game, and then y'all got so good at this shit. Y'all the aggressors. Y'all took over. Like women capable of doing any and everything,
mm,
any and everything. Like women adapt like no other, in my opinion. Just looking at uh, broken homes, like we have a kid together. I skate. I'm a deadbeat dad. You adapt to your situation. Is it a terrible situation to adapt to? Yes, but your circumstances, you adapt. You play it well for the most part. Women, they play it well. Okay, I'm a single mother. They do it. They do it well. They do it strong. You know what I mean? And this is just another instance, in my opinion, where the game is what the game is. And then some woman someday was like, nah, these niggas ain't about to be out here just whatever, we gonna do it too. You know, we could sleep with a nigga and it be all right. It's nothing. You know what I mean? And now, you know what I mean? A lot of women are aggressors. A lot of women are aggressors in that sense of, you know, they out here just getting it. Successful as hell, paid, you know, entrepreneurs, and they that relationship shit, they're the spearhead, the cornerstone of their situations or their families or whatever. That shit blows my mind just because I'm an alpha, period, in life. Sports, however you want to look at it, I'm an alpha. So for me, that's a clash waiting to happen. You could be
Mhm.
independent. You can be strong. I support all of that.
Mhm.
But for me to, I got a problem with me saying, okay, you know, you're the boss. And I hate to say boss because I wouldn't be the boss of a woman, but you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Like
I
I
get it.
couldn't lay down like that. Like I gotta match that. Like it gotta become at least a very friendly, loving, competitive nature if that's the case. If it's, you know, but I can't, I'm they ain't no submitting in that aspect. Nah. So, you know, whatever. Women, they adapted and they playing the game and they winning.
But here's the thing, right? Deep down, those women who are doing that saw that and felt like they had to keep that going. But if you ask half of them, we tired.
I bet.
We are tired.
You
Like
can't
for
stop.
real, I really just want to meet somebody who can lead. Like I don't want to lead. I lead everything else in my life. I really that part, like my home, like I want you to be able to lead and not run me into a brick wall.
Yo, everybody ain't a leader. You got to follow at some point to lead. And if we don't have, and when I say we, I mean men, we don't have no example. What's the example? What's the example? And then for the men that do, or for the men that had an example and they can lead, y'all don't choose them. Y'all shit on them.
What do you mean?
Y'all shit on them. The good guy. The good guy. The good guy always gets shitted on. Come on, Sky. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to you. Now, I'm not saying you might not have ever done this, right? But I
Mm.
know you know a couple who may have. I know you got a friend or two that was like, girl, I might have lost one, or however that conversation goes. Cause I don't know how the women talk goes when you do some dumb shit like this. But when the good one that y'all be craving for come to y'all at some point in your life, that's the one that you shitted on. For who? The one that y'all don't want to tolerate right now. The one that y'all saying, oh my gosh, I wish he can lead.
Here's the thing, right?
Oh, here's the thing. I'm
No, no,
listening.
no.
What's the thing?
What you're saying is probably somewhat factual. However, here's the
Somewhat
thing.
factual. I'll take that.
We should not have to compromise everything to get the good guy.
What you mean compromise everything
Not
to get the good
compromise,
guy?
but like um settle. So like here's the thing, right? You gotta be somewhat attracted to the good guy.
Oh, so the good niggas is ugly. That's what
No,
you
no, no,
said.
no,
That's
not
what it
all of them.
sounds like you saying though.
I'm saying that when you talk to, let me not say women, for my circle,
Yeah,
most of the good guys were guys that people were not physically attracted to in
right.
the least bit.
Uh-huh.
And like you can't fake that.
Hmm. You can't. You got
You
you
can't fake
attracted to what
that.
you're
And
attracted to.
like people say, "Oh, it'll grow on you, woody woody
Mm-mm.
woo." No, you're setting
Yeah.
yourself up to do some damage.
Yeah. I go
When you
both
could just
ways.
remain friends or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
Hey, I don't have nothing to say on that. But what I do know is that the good guy usually got to take the fall, man. You know, they come in there and they they provide in a good chunk of foundational things that a woman desires in a relationship, in a partner, whatever. Now he might be missing out on a couple things. So you just pointed out that physically he might not be it. Keep him as a friend. But what y'all be asking for be in front of y'all face. Y'all just don't be wanting it to come from that. Y'all want it to come from the bad guy. And I say the bad guy in quotes, air quotes. And that's why y'all always find yourself with the bad guy, because y'all be following y'all attraction by the eye. You know, you like, oh, he cute, or his drip, the swag, the way he carry himself, you know. All right,
I don't even
cool.
care about drip and swag. Like that's something you can
But
fix.
that's
I
what
can take you to the
attracts you
store and
though.
fix that.
That's what attracts you though.
But like even still, like even if you so like attraction is not just like, oh, he look good, but like even like how you carry yourself,
Right.
your
But we ain't
basic
even get
day-to-day
there yet.
conversation.
That's like stage two. Cause you won't, okay. So let me go. I'm about to kill that right there. The dude that you, or the dudes that you just referred to in the non-attractive pile,
Mm-hmm.
right? You see him,
Wow.
the non-attractive pile. So you out with your friends, whatever, you're not attracted to him. So
Mhm.
how would you know if he has good conversation or not to be attracted to his good conversation, his brain, and what he's into and things like that?
So let's rewind because most of the people that let go of a good guy was a friend who was trying to cross the friend threshold.
Think so? No
Most of the time,
relationship?
for females, at least for females, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna meet a dude that you're not attracted to, and somehow he has a way to connect to you. You have to know him on a certain level, whether it's a classmate, whether it was somebody you work with. There was some type of familiarity there that they was trying to cross a barrier.
Okay, so check me out real quick. He's attractive, good job, treats you well. He check a lot of boxes,
Mm-hmm.
but then maybe his sex is trash.
Mm-hmm.
What
Okay.
about those? She's like, oh no,
No, no, no,
I
no,
can't do
no,
this.
no.
This is trash. Like, what are we talking about here?
Everything is trash, or
The
one
sex
part of
is
it is
just
trash.
trash. Okay, so if we talk about sex, we're gonna break that shit down to so many different things. And I'm not trying to expose myself like that for people. Like that nigga's a freak. So I ain't gonna do that. But I'm gonna just say sex in general is trash. Whatever they into, she don't like more than she do like. We good with that?
Okay.
O- Okay. She don't like more than she do like dealing with her boyfriend who treats her good, good job, whatever, all that shit. He just check a bunch of boxes. But then Jihad up the street, no good, but she know Jihad gonna change her life. And then she goes and she fuck with Jihad up the street and fuck up a good thing with the good guy. There's scenarios, a lot of scenarios where situations like that happen.
I think
You
that's
can't
based
tell me.
on
No, it's
age
not. No, it's not.
and
It's grown
experience.
ass women. Whoever you consider grown, they doing that shit too. They doing it too. I'm sorry.
There's all kinds of gadgets and things these days
Man,
that
I don't want to hear that shit. No, you're not speaking for the majority when you say that. Nope, not at all. Cause niggas is out here getting their feelings hurt because of shit like this. A few shortcomings, and it don't even have to be about sex, because it could be money too. It's really about what that woman, you know. And I'm not bashing women or these type of women or anything like that. I'm just putting situations out there. If you relate, you relate. If you don't, you don't.
no,
It
because
could
it's
be
a
a
lot
money
of
thing.
Kevin Samuels out here who feel like women need to make $300,000, look like every Instagram model, and have
Yeah,
no children to
I ain't
date
in
a
that boat.
decent dude.
I ain't in that boat. He's funny to me, and that's it. Anyway, it could be money. So he could put it down, right? He could smack it. You love it. Oh my gosh. He smacks it so good. All right. No complaints. He treats you well, but the nigga don't make that much money, maybe. But then Jihad up the street, bank, big bucks. You attracted to what you attracted to.
It's you know what? I think it depends on the female because it's a lot of
It
females
do.
that are the breadwinner in their household.
And the nigga's okay with that.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah. It's a lot of them okay with that. I ain't gonna say a lot. It's just niggas out there okay with that. And I don't know. Yeah. You kind of like step into the mommy role a little bit. Oh, she got it. Mommy gonna take care of it.
That's how you feel about those dudes?
Now, how I feel, I'm just saying. I mean, I would like to think that that's how that got a part to play in that from a mental standpoint. Like, why else would you be okay? It's got to be something that you know, it reminds you of what. And if you was with your mommy and your mom Dukes took care of everything, then now you get a girl. A lot of niggas try to make their girl a mom.
Mhm.
So that could possibly be, an instance where they view it like, oh, my girl got it. Yo, she make mad money and they okay with just chilling and shit, you
Mm.
know. And it's not, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have the answers there, but that is, I feel like that is something. All right, see, I ain't trying to put nobody out there, and I'm not gonna specifically, but I've been around people that's okay with that, and that's their viewpoint of a situation like that. Oh, my girl make mad money. I'm good. Oh, no, I'm good. She got it. They just okay with the breadwinning.
Mm.
Yeah. So you gotta get to know people when you dating out here in these streets. And when you see the red flag, recognize the red flag. Stop trying to paint the red flag. Stop trying to take the red flag down and put up a white one or a different color one. A red flag is a red flag. Don't
Fact.
get excited because you finally met somebody and you eager for it to go somewhere because, oh my gosh, about damn time. And you just start accepting shit. Everybody got a standard till they get in a situation, and then them red flags pop up, and then you're like, "Oh no, it's okay. Don't worry about that. We'll let that slide.
Mhm.
We'll let that slide."
That's true. That's true. But see, but to bring it back, that's what makes it hard dating and having children.
Mhm.
Because the red flag, the impact of the red flag that you ignored no longer
Yep.
just impacts you, right? Now it
Nope.
impacts your kid or kids.
Yep.
Um, I definitely used to be team like multi children, but no, it's not happening ever
Yep.
in life again.
Mhm.
Number one, because nothing is guaranteed these days. Like even the way marriage is viewed with our age group is just insane. Um,
It's like, will you go with me? Remember that? Will you go with me?
Circle yes or no?
Yeah, that's what it's like. That's the new "Will you go with me?" Getting married, because everybody gets married and then get divorced. Like it's nothing. It's nothing. Like I don't know why. For me, like when I was younger, when we were younger, it just felt like divorce was so much harder to do.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like it was a long ass process. Like I heard somebody was getting divorced. Like my friends be like, yo, well, I ain't really have friends with both parents, but if I just heard all my parents got a divorce or they getting a divorce, it seemed like that divorce would be going on forever. Like, damn, these niggas is still together. Like,
Mm-hmm.
divorce is a hard thing to do. No, divorce is simple as hell now.
Yeah.
Will you go with me?
Yeah.
And they go up on there. They had this big, expensive ass wedding, waste their money just to get divorced. Why do they get divorced? Because they don't know each other. Niggas get married for sex. Niggas get married for money. Yo, it be small shit, tangible, surface shit that make people make such a large commitment. Like the commitment is just watered down. That's all. It like the pastor, the preacher, whoever, they be up there, but it don't be like no spiritual. It
Mm.
ain't like us. That shit is out. It ain't that. Like marriage ain't that. Not every marriage. Obviously, there's
Right.
like a small little pocket, obviously, where they know what they doing, but yeah, that commitment is not. It's not a spiritual commitment anymore. That shit is really just ceremony and to show out.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that part of it, and then like I'm a comment reader. So like when people post things that is like thought provoking or like, oh, what would you do? You know how they always put, oh, what would you do in this scenario? I read the comments a lot and like I've read comments from dudes like, oh, I ain't never dating no chick with no kid because I can't treat a kid that ain't mine like it's mine.
I'm trying to think that I say some stupid shit like that.
And I'm like, what?
I probably did say
Like
that.
who treats children bad? And then I read and then I get worried about like even my daughter's father and like him dating and his the person and like because I
Right.
read the comments from the females like, oh, I'll pluck that kid. I'll do like you'll lose your life today.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know what I
that's
mean?
that's a
Like
whole nother
because you
dynamic.
mad at a kid, like so it's just
Mhm.
very difficult dating with children. People are so trusting. Like you hear these crazy stories about like chicks leaving their kid, what they do, and I'm like, yo, what?
Yeah, no, no.
What do you mean?
No,
What do you mean?
that's a whole nother
I know it's a
avenue.
whole nother episode, but
Shit.
it's just it just that's what makes it complicated. And then we could just go to like logistics of dating with kids, trying to find somebody to watch your kid. You don't want the kid to be around when the person is around, so they got to be somewhere else. Like all of that is
Yeah.
even a lot. And then like things come up, and then people get tired of that. It's like, oh, you can't make it because something at the last minute. The kid get like there's all these different scenarios and like things you got to put in place to just
Mhm.
be able to go out on a date.
Yeah. Yeah. And then,
Because like as a single parent, it's like who's these grandparents don't watch kids.
nah, they
They
be ready to
might
give
do
them
like an
back.
afternoon pickup, but you gotta come home soon.
Yeah.
You what time you gonna be here?
Real.
Yeah,
Their life just started again.
yeah. Like these
Oh
grandparents be
man.
out at the bar.
For real. Oh man. Yeah, yo, it's so many different dynamics with that. So shout out to the people that found somebody, man. Shout out to the people that found somebody with this situation, whether they
For
both got kids
real.
and it's working. And if it's working, then man, I hope you appreciate your situation. Um,
Send the smoke signal of what to do. Like I see people with like blended family. My mom, I'm like
don't
shit.
believe that shit. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Don't believe nothing you see. Oh man. Don't believe nothing you see.
Ah.
um Yo, it ain't it's really not a rule book. It's about it. In my opinion, it really just comes down to the two people involved. It's about their level of commitment, their communication
Mm-hmm.
in the situation, how thorough and how involved the interest they are with the situation. You know what I mean? I would like to think that a really good situation would be or would look like two people communicating with each other extremely thorough, you know, minimal details left out, um, no lacking in interest and expressing that interest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I think that crosses a lot of T's and dots a lot of I's for both parties involved. You know what I mean? Like if you and I are dating, right? And I'm answering a lot of your questions that you have in your brain before you even ask me. That's damn good communication. That's going to give you confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing for me. If you're speaking about different things that I'm thinking that I haven't yet expressed to you, that's confidence. You're giving me a great deal of confidence in wanting to take that next step. Um, I don't know, but for me, it is what it is. The number one thing is, protecting the best interest of my kids, and then two is my hesitation of having that conversation or those conversations about who's who and what's what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's my two number one reasons, why I fear the open dating thing. Cause it's really open dating. Like it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, hey, everybody knows. But until I get over that hump, it's just like, all right, settle down. You better keep this, like, you know what I mean? Not private, but because it's not really like that person would be hidden.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, all right, slow the shit down. Like nobody wants to be moving because we start moving fast. That means that I got to get to that place I don't want to get to faster than I anticipated. So.
Mm-hmm.
But then that goes into what you were saying about I'm trying to gauge time and you like what you got to hide, you know? So I hope I'll never get asked that question. It really ain't shit to hide in it probably would be a lot to hide in a lot of other situations. My situation particularly, it's nothing to hide, you
Mm-hmm.
know. It's just what I said. Those two things. Number one, you got to protect your kid because people crazy, men and women. They crazy. They do dumb shit out here. You know.
Facts.
So that
Absolutely
and
facts.
you know what's crazy? Like you bring up those type of people. That's okay. Like they out there, they're just very, I ain't gonna say carefree, but they're very free in how they move. They're very confident that nothing's gonna happen to their kids. Their kids are not being affected by them being, sent to grandma's house or whatever for them to go have a good night, whatever, good weekend. If something was to happen to their kids, I'd be asking myself, how would they feel knowing what they was doing? Because I'd be
Mhm.
thinking about that shit before it happens. Like, yeah, I wouldn't be able to live with myself, so I don't do it.
Mhm.
That bad or good? That I don't do it because
I think there's some bad to that, right?
bad.
Cause you're limiting yourself of living. Like just because you have kids doesn't mean that like you got to be on hold till they turn 18 either.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like I've
Of
I've
course.
seen what that looks like for people who did that,
Mhm.
who didn't live until their kids were grown. Like my perfect example, my grandmother is like that. My grandmother got married at 18, had 4 children, got divorced, met a man, told him to go live his life because she had kids and she wasn't gonna have any more kids. And then they got married in her 40s.
Mm.
And they were together till he died. You
Boy.
know what I'm saying? But like she
Yeah.
waited till she was almost 40 years old to like live again after like my grandmother had all her kids by the time she was 24.
Shit.
And then she married like the person who I called my grandfather my whole life, even though he wasn't biologically my grandfather, in their 40s.
I
Like
would have
all
rather
her
have
kids
had
were
my
grown.
kids early too.
You said what?
I would have rather have my kids early too.
Man, if I could go back,
Yeah.
who wants to be a baby mother in their 30s?
Yeah.
I'm too
Boy.
old for this shit.
Yo.
My
Are
daughter
you
be
really
wearing me
though?
out.
Are you really though? I don't think you like no. Like that. Okay, so when you ask people older, they say that this is like a good age.
I've heard
A good
that. So
age.
like people, so the older ladies, the older professional women always say, "Oh no, have fun, have fun." But then I see like my friends who are like 41 living
Mm.
their best lives.
With kids?
Yeah, their kids are like 18.
So they got them done early.
They're done, done,
Yeah.
done. I'm gonna be 50 something.
Yeah. Well, you better have your best life right now with her on your hip.
I try.
There you go. It
However,
almost sounds like you ain't trying hard enough though.
I'm really not.
Yeah. Try harder.
Well, you know what? In all actuality, when I first had my daughter, I had to get myself together
Mm.
because that was like a hard blow for me, right? Because I was determined not to have children and not raise my child with her father.
Mhm.
Like that was not a thing. That's you don't make it to 34
Mhm.
and unintentionally and
Yeah.
then you know. So there's that. However, now I'm like shit, man. She jumping around on stuff. I don't have mega needs anymore. Things are different. I'm
Yeah.
like, this would have been a lot more fun at 24.
Yeah. I hear you. Oh man, that's funny.
like, like I got a whole 3-year-old. I'm almost 40. Like she gonna be 5 when I turn 40. Like, come on.
Yeah, you probably should just get that out of your brain ASAP, yo. Like
But
that just that way of thinking or looking at it. Like,
oh
don't
yeah,
look
for
at it
sure.
like
But
that.
that's how I know I'm not having any more children.
Yeah.
When I first had her, I was like, oh, she needs a sibling. I need to find somebody with more kids. Hell
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Hell no. I will never.
That's wild.
Let me tell you something. The biggest select Michael B. Jordan could leave Lori Harvey right now. Come here and ask me to marry him, and I'm gonna tell him I ain't having no kids. Good
Shit.
day, sir.
All right. You can talk that talk if you want to.
I will not.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. I mean, hey,
No, can't
look,
do
I
it.
understand.
I
I
can't
ain't too
do it.
far off. So
I can't afford it. Number one,
yeah,
this
that's
shit is
another thing.
expensive.
It is. That's a whole nother topic.
No,
Yeah, dating with kids, man, all in all, it's just
it's wild.
yeah,
Last
it's a lot of
question:
variables.
is it a deal breaker if your kids don't like your significant other?
Mm, damn, that's another fear. Mm,
Like,
deal
what do you
breaker.
do? What do you do?
Hmm. What do you do? What do you do? They don't like her. Yeah, we gotta figure it. And I really love her, obviously.
Yes, you love her. Y'all got the best relationship, but your kids are like, hell no.
Yeah, we gotta give it a little time.
Cause see, that's the other risk that you run. The older they get, and the
All right.
more used to them, used to like you not having another person, they
Mhm.
get it's harder.
You gotta give it time. You gotta give it time. Um, damn. Yeah, you gotta get that time. That's my initial response to a situation like that. All right, this is such and such, meet, you know, XYZ. Oh, we don't like her. Damn, we gotta give it time. We got to give it time. I'm like, hey, look, we got to have a conversation because this is what it is, and then just kind of try to highlight a lot of things that I really love about her, um, and ways that she might have helped me, whatever, um, and kind of just show them like, hey, look, she got your dad's best interest at heart. For no other reason, at least start with that, and then now, okay, tell me why you don't like her. And if they on some like, oh, because, then I'm like, go sit down somewhere. Like, you bugging. But if it's legit reasons, which I really can't see how it would be if I really love her, you know? I don't know. That's tough, man. You got to be in the situation and have actual shit happening to respond to it, because we could be here all day going back and forth playing what if.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So my start would be, we got to give it time. And I need to know, what don't you like about her? Like, why would you say that?
Hmm.
And then that's the starting point right there. Yeah. But I can't say it's a deal breaker if I feel that strongly about her. But if I'm feeling like, and it hasn't been long, and I was one of those parents that I'm like, hey, look, this is such and such, and I don't mind like the in and out of different people, and they like, yeah, not feeling her, then it's a dub. She out of here.
Mm,
Yeah, she's gone.
just like that.
Well, I mean, you got to look at how I'm handling it. I'm
Yeah.
incorporating them in the decision making process. Like, we're vetting her together. If I don't mind bringing people to my kids at a very early age, a very early stage of dating this person,
Hmm.
they in that vetting process with me. Oh, what y'all thought about her? Nah, we ain't like her. We like such and such better. All right, you got to go. That's how I'm choosing to handle it. You know,
Okay.
they in it. If I'm gonna ask them, then shit, your opinion gotta matter. It gotta count. It's a vote.
Not as a vote. Not as a
Yeah,
vote. I
but
can't.
if I'm handling
Oh
myself,
man.
then it's on me. They don't got to worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, this was fun.
It was fun. This was a good conversation.
There's so much more we gotta touch.
I know we got a lot of stuff to touch, so we got
For
to come
real.
back and do another episode. However, for this one, I think I'm tapped down on that. I don't know.
Sounds good.
All right, Slim.
All right, my dear, my
You
good
have
friend. It was
holler.
fun. Yep.
Yes, sir. Bye.